Today we're going to be talking about what is a high value man? Why is everybody talking about this? And a lot of the conversation is linked to your net worth and your social status, social standing. Now, those things aside, I'm not saying that those aren't important, but I think that that's actually a very small piece of the equation, right? If you have made good money, of course there's going to be a status and a value that is attached to that as a man, but it's because it says something about who you are and likely what you've had to do. I want to focus in on what I think a high value man actually is and what's at the core of it and what most men look for in terms of categorizing another man as high value and what women look for in terms of categorizing a man as high value. And for me, it boils down to one very simple thing, which is, do you have a solid sense, a solid structure internally of self-leadership and authority? Can you tell yourself no? Can you follow through on the things that you've said that you want to do or are going to do? Do you have good values and a deep sense of integrity that you live on a daily basis and that you aren't willing to compromise on? Those are all incredibly high value things. And the reason for that is very simple. It's because doing that is really fucking hard. Doing that and living a life that is in alignment, that's aligned with you, whoever you are, authentically, that's aligned with your values, and living with a deep sense of integrity is incredibly, incredibly difficult. Developing the discipline to say, I'm going to wake up at 6 o'clock in the morning and, do my meditation and work out every single day, that is hard. That is not easy. The majority of people will struggle to do that or to develop that one very simple habit. And for some people, they might never do it, right? So if you are a man who lives his life with integrity, who speaks truthfully and follows through on what he says he's going to do, if you are a man who has a vision and a clear sense of what he wants to build or create in his relationship, in his career, in his business, with his family, all of that, and then you're pursuing that, right? You're actually living in accordance with what you've said you've wanted to build. All of that is incredibly high value. It doesn't mean that you have to have attained it and made billions of dollars or millions of dollars. It simply means that there is an inherent value in you taking and shouldering the responsibility of living with integrity, of you not being just an impulse monster like most of us are, right? I think this is one of the big challenges. Personally, I think that this is the big challenge that every man is going to face. But there is incredibly high value for the man who has gone on the journey to rein in his impulses and to have built a framework of self-understanding and self-leadership, and to have developed the capacity to say no to things that are misaligned with his values, to say no to things that are outside of his integrity, to develop the skill to pursue the things that he ultimately wants to build and be. And whether that makes you rich or not is almost irrelevant. It's just incredibly attractive. It's attractive in gaining other men's respect because we know, right? If you look at a man who has very real discipline in his life, and he's a man who has put in the hard work to rein in his impulses of self-destruction and bad behavior, you know that he has done something unbelievably significant. And for women, this is the real catch. This is why this conversation, I think, of high-value men gets a lot of attention from young women in today's world. It's because for women, it's a sign of trust. It is easier to trust a man who has developed this type of self-leadership and inner authority. It is easier to trust a man who has reined in his impulses, who has sort of like locked horns with the bull or the dragon of his impulses and said, okay, I've tamed you. I understand you. I know how you work. I know where you show up. I know where you like to play. I know where you like to try and engage me. And when you can be a man who lines up his life with his morals, his ethics, and his values, and you live that every single day, it is hard. It is very hard to do, but it is worth it. It's worth it for you and for your family and for your friends and your community and your culture, and all of the people around you benefit from it. And that's why it's valuable. So comment below if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts. What did I miss? What do you agree with? What do you disagree with? And if you're listening to this on the pod, on Spotify or Apple, don't forget to subscribe wherever you are. And don't forget to man it forward. Share this podcast with somebody that you know will enjoy it. So until next week, Connor Beaton signing off.